Picture this. March 1st, 2021. A man opens his phone, stares at a photo he just took in a bathroom sink, and types, "Thank you all for supporting me in my journey in this sport. I think I am done." The photo is his own blood. My name is Sebastian. I am a physical therapist and performance analyst. And from a clinical standpoint, what I am about to show you should not be possible. That man is Khamzat Chimaev, undefeated, unkillable. The most terrifying fighting prospect the UFC had ever seen, posting his own retirement from a Las Vegas bathroom at 26 years old. Now fast forward 4 years. That same man is the UFC middleweight champion of the world. And on May 9th, he walks into the Prudential Center in Newark to defend that belt against a man who once broke a guitar over his father's head to stop him from murdering his mother. Welcome to the Injury Breakdown. Today we are not just analyzing a fight, we are asking a question that has haunted sports science for decades. What does damage, physical or psychological, actually do to a human being's capacity to perform? Because the answer in this case is not what you expect. One man's body keeps trying to quit. The other man's mind was never built to. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this fight is far more complicated than any betting line can capture. Khamzat Chimaev was born in 1994 in Chechnya, a region torn apart by 2 wars before he was old enough to understand what war meant. At 18, he emigrated to Sweden with his mother. No money, no language. Alexander Gustafsson, a former UFC title challenger, would later say he bought Chimaev basic items like shoes when he was broke. That is literally how he started. But inside the gym, he became a 3-time Swedish national wrestling champion. And then, in July of 2020, on an island off the coast of Abu Dhabi, in the middle of a global pandemic, he did something no one in UFC history had done before. He won his debut on July 15th. He took almost no damage, and then he asked to fight again. 11 days later, the promotion said yes. He won by first-round stoppage. His second opponent landed exactly 0 strikes. 2 fights, 11 days, 2 finishes, 2 weight classes. So here is the question as this whole video is built around. How does the most dominant fighter on the planet go from that moment to posting a photo of his own blood and announcing his retirement just 7 months later? The answer has a name. And once you understand it, you will never look at elite training the same way. It is called exercise-induced immunosuppression. Here is the counterintuitive part. The harder you train, the more vulnerable your immune system becomes. After every high-intensity session, there is a window of 1 to 9 hours where the body is so focused on repairing muscle that it lowers its defenses against infection. Natural killer cells drop. Mucosal protection in the upper respiratory tract goes quiet. Sports doctors call it the open window. MMA fighters are especially exposed. They train for hours in close physical contact. They travel constantly. They cut extreme amounts of weight. Each one of those factors opens the window a little wider. Sebastian Coe, the world record miler, missed the 1988 Seoul Olympics because of a respiratory infection right at peak training load. Reviews of Olympic Medical Services report that upper respiratory infections account for between 1/3 and 2/3 of all illness cases at the Games. These are the fittest humans on Earth, and a virus stops them anyway. Chimaev was training at maximum intensity in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. He contracted the virus in late 2020. His lungs were damaged. The UFC flew him to Las Vegas. Doctors put him on prednisone and ordered him to rest. He ignored them. He went back to the gym. He did hard grappling rounds. And then in the bathroom afterward, he started coughing up blood. In his own words, "I started coughing up blood. Honestly, it scared me. Cancer? I have been sick for so long. Why does it not go away?" That is the moment he picked up his phone and posted the retirement message. That is the moment Borz, the wolf, publicly broke. He came back. He won again. Then his camp collapsed because of a mysterious skin condition nobody ever fully explained. Then at UFC 279, he missed weight by 7.5 pounds. One of the worst misses in promotion history. Then he withdrew from a main event in Riyadh. Dana White went public. And I quote, "Every time Chimaev gets close to a fight, he gets really sick and ends up hospitalized." We really do not know what his health issues are. An athlete with potentially 5 to 6 surgeries and 7 to 8 fractures to his name, and still unbeaten. Then in August 2025, at UFC 319 in Chicago, he won the middleweight title against Dricus du Plessis. 12 takedowns, over 21 minutes of control time in a 25-minute fight. 50 to 44 on every scorecard. One of the most one-sided title performances in recent memory. And immediately after, foot surgery. Which brings us to the biomechanics question nobody in mainstream MMA media is taking seriously enough. Chimaev's entire game runs on what sports scientists call the ATP phosphocreatine system. Think of it as the same energy pathway that powers a 100-meter sprint. Maximum force, but only for 10 to 15 seconds. Then it needs 2 to 3 minutes to fully recharge. Every takedown he throws is a detonation off that system. And it all starts at the foot. The ankle drives into the mat. The knee and hip extend. The core transfers that force into the opponent. Sports scientists call this the kinetic chain. And the foot is its foundation. When that foundation is compromised, even slightly, the disruption multiplies up the chain. A 15% deficit at the ankle can translate into a 30 to 40% loss in takedown power at the point of contact. And then there is what veteran referee and analyst John McCarthy said on the Weighing In podcast. Whatever happened to him with COVID, it affected him greatly. He has had issues with his ability to maintain a cardiovascular base. He tends to just burn out. He is not recovering the way he used to. 30 years of cage observation, describing a post-viral cardiovascular decline in the reigning middleweight champion of the world. One man. Unbeaten, and his own body keeps trying to stop him. But while Chimaev's body battles enemies you can photograph on a lung scan, his opponent on May 9th battles something the human eye cannot see at all. Riverside, California. We move from physiology to neuroscience. Sean Strickland grew up in a home where violence was not the exception. It was the air. His father was an alcoholic. He drank constantly, lost jobs, moved the family, and terrorized his wife and children. As a small child, Strickland would stay awake until 3 in the morning, listening to his father scream at his mother, convinced, night after night, that tonight she would not survive. He did not sleep in a bed. He slept under his mother's bed, hiding, waiting. And then came the night his father got on top of his mother and began strangling her. Strickland looked around the room. The only thing he could reach was a guitar. He swung it, hit his father across the head, stopped it, then ran down the street to call the police. He was in elementary school. His father was arrested. His mother bailed him out the next day. In 2023, Strickland appeared on Theo Von's podcast. It became arguably the most emotionally unguarded conversation any active UFC fighter has ever had on camera. Theo Von visibly teared up. Strickland's voice cracked, and he said something that, as a clinician, stopped me completely. My brain was built to survive, not to be happy, not to be normal. Is he right? Can childhood trauma actually rewire the brain in a way that becomes a competitive advantage inside an octagon? The neuroscience says yes. And the price is steep. When a child grows up under chronic threat, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes hyperreactive. It activates faster. It stays activated longer. It starts treating the world as permanently dangerous, even when the danger is gone. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex handles the brakes on impulse and aggression. In trauma survivors, it develops less robustly. Studies consistently show reduced cortical thickness in that region among adults with histories of severe childhood trauma. Less braking power, faster, less filtered responses to perceived threat. In a cage, that neurological profile is an extraordinary advantage. You react faster. You feel pain differently. When other fighters hesitate or freeze, you move forward. Because your nervous system has already spent years learning that freezing gets people hurt. But outside the cage, Strickland himself describes waking up and telling his girlfriend he feels like a danger to people that day. Intrusive violent thoughts, social situations that feel genuinely foreign. The same wiring that makes him dangerous in competition makes ordinary life profoundly difficult. And then in September 2023, Strickland stepped in as a $500 underdog against Israel Adesanya, one of the most technically gifted strikers in UFC history. He dominated 5 rounds and took the middleweight title of the world. In the post-fight interview, visibly overwhelmed for the first time anyone could remember, he said, "Let's go. Childhood traumas and repressed memories. You got me to where I needed to be." Mike Tyson said something similar about Cus D'Amato, the legendary trainer who became his surrogate father. D'Amato took the blind rage of a kid who had been arrested more than 30 times before his teens and turned it into a world heavyweight championship. The octagon and the ring become the only environments where a nervous system calibrated entirely for survival finally matches the world around it. Here is the cruel irony that no betting line captures. The physiology that makes Chimaev dangerous is in question. The psychology that makes Strickland dangerous is essentially immune to doubt. Chimaev is a sprinter. Short, maximal explosive bursts. 2 to 3 minutes needed to recover between them. If Mufkid eroded his cardiovascular base, if the foot surgery altered his takedown mechanics, if Ramadan fasting through the first half of his camp disrupted his hormonal recovery, those bursts get shorter, the gaps get longer, and over 25 minutes, the math shifts. Strickland is a marathoner. He does not rely on explosiveness. He relies on volume, constant jab, constant pressure. A pacing strategy designed to make the final round feel identical to the first, and to make his opponent feel the opposite. Viktor Frankl, writing from inside a Nazi concentration camp, said this: "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Fighting is Chimaev's identity. Fighting is Strickland's salvation." 2 men. Same answer. And on May 9th, one of them wins. Sports science is exceptional at measuring what is visible. Strike output. Takedown percentage. Oxygen uptake. Cortisol levels. Amygdala volume. What it cannot fully measure is what keeps a man in a Las Vegas bathroom, coughing up blood, and deciding, not yet. Or the capacity of a child sleeping under a bed, holding a guitar, deciding, I will not let this be my story. 2 broken men, 1 belt. May 9th. If this breakdown gave you a different way of seeing this fight, tell me in the comments. Which kind of damage do you think is harder to overcome? The body that keeps breaking, or the mind that was built inside the break? I read every single one. And if you want to understand the science behind the next big moment in sport before anyone else does, subscribe. This is what we do here. I am Sebastian. See you in the next one.